Okay, so this is day 2 of my diary on this trip, and it's already to a great start. So we started off our morning, got up bright and early. We did have the electricity turned off again. As you know, in Africa, that happens right now for about 11 hours a day that we have no electricity. So that was fun. So we got up, we got ready, we met with Paul Allen from Bush River Lodge and Transfrontier Africa.
Hi, my name's Paul. I am one of the co-owners of Bush River Lodge, which is where we are at the moment. It's a lodge in South Africa on the Olifants River, which you can see just behind me. It's in the northeast part of South Africa, and we're on the border of Kruger National Park. I'm also the research coordinator for an NGO called Transfrontier Africa. And Transfrontier Africa operates in the greater Kruger. We do a lot of ecological research that side, conservation work, animal welfare, and we also have the Black Mambas, which is the world's first all-black female anti-poaching team, all from local communities in the area. And then in about 2018, we did a spin-off from the Black Mambas, which is the Bush Babies, and that's an environmental outreach program. So we go to primary schools and we teach kids from the communities about the role of nature and why it's so important to reconnect, especially with South Africa's history. A lot of the rural population has been segregated from the natural environment with fences. So it's a way of reconnecting them with nature. So we took over Bush River 2.5 years ago. I've been living in South Africa for 6 years, and I've been working with Transfrontier Africa for 5 years now. A lot of you have probably heard about pangolins and pangolin trade. Pangolins are sadly the world's most illegally traded wildlife species on the planet. We work closely with the African Pangolin Work Group, and we are one of the formal release sites. So when animals do get confiscated from the illegal trade, they first go to hospital to get checked up, rehab if they need it, and then they need a place to live again. So release sites are a search for as close to where they were poached as possible, because they're very regional, and we're one of them. So we've now already been able to release 3 pangolins back into this place. The rehab center that we work with also has other animals, and we've worked with them to release jackal, genet, owls, and we're looking at caracals as well. Pangolins there are 8 species of pangolins in the world, 4 in Asia and 4 in Africa. Okay. Pangolins are about so big, the species we have here, up to about 12-15 kilos. They are mammals covered in scales. They look a little bit like an armadillo, but instead of these big bands, they have small, almost diamond-shaped scales. They eat ants and termites only. They're stunningly beautiful animals. They're very poorly studied. And sadly, in traditional medicine belief, pangolin scales can cure everything from headaches to cancer to incompetence and impotence and, you name it. None of it's true. It's just like rhino horn, it's keratin. Just like our fingernails, it has no medicinal properties. But that's why they're poached, and then they go to Asia for that. Bush River is a company. It's a commercial lodge, and it's sitting on 430 hectares of land. When we bought it, the property was fenced off. So South Africa is quite unique in the world in terms of wildlife ownership. South Africa, by law, the landowner also owns any wildlife on it, and that part of the way of gaining ownership is you have to have a fence around your property. And that helps for conservation, but it also has negative impacts. It means that animals can't move, and there's no gene flow. Animals can't, hop off and find a mate or spread out. And so one of the first things we did was drop fences with our neighbors, and we're now in the process of establishing a new nature reserve. So we're already about 7,500 hectares. There are 5 landowners joined up, and once that's formally declared, we hope to grow even further. The commercial aspect of the lodge is pretty much like your own lodge. So the money that we raise goes back into conservation. So we're not here to, make a profit. any money that we do make goes back into the conservation. So, for example, the pangolins, we had to build a hut for the pangolins to be sort of habituated in and then get released. When we get caracals, we need a fenced-off area that they can just settle in, and then once they're settled, they can go. So all of that requires some money. Obviously, we've also got some security, maintenance of the property, so that's what we raise the money for. So the Black Mambas were founded specifically for rhino poaching. In 2011, when the rhino poaching crisis was at its peak, the founder and owner of Transfrontier Africa, Craig, realized that the traditional approach of just getting more armed guards was like a Cold War. Right? It was an arms race. The more the anti-poaching guys were getting guns, the more the poachers were coming with guns to fight other people. So instead of just losing rhinos, we were also losing rhinos and humans, which, you know, obviously is not the objective. So the Black Mambas were created to really change that mindset. So people from the local communities, where a lot of the poachers also come from, were recruited, ladies specifically, also because ladies in African culture also have a much greater influence in the education and the raising of children. So we're also sort of passing on that knowledge to the next generation, and women are also more likely to spend any income they get towards raising their family instead of on alcohol and cigarettes and gambling, which, you know, sadly is also quite prevalent here. So that was in 2011-12 the Black Mambas were conceptualized and founded, and we started off with 8 ladies, and we're now over 36 ladies from the local communities. They go out twice a day patrolling the fence of the Greater Kruger, and then we also do snare sweeps, and we do property searches, vehicle searches, and they're a very visible presence. So it's really a deterrent. We want the world to know they're there. So any poacher who comes realizes this is not the place to burgle. I need to burgle the neighbors or whatever. So Transfrontier Africa is an NGO that I work for, and we are also partnered as Bush River Lodge. So 5 of the Black Mambas actually live on the property, and they do a lot of the anti-poaching work on the conservancy that we're establishing. And then obviously my sort of day job is research coordinator for Transfrontier Africa. So a lot of the work that we do, trying to figure out, you know, where should we release animals? Which animals should we look into? What's our carrying capacity? How many more animals can we have, or do we have too many? How do we manage that? That goes through at Transfrontier Africa and the research we do. And then film crews such as yourself or people who are doing documentaries can stay at the lodge, and then the profit goes back to Transfrontier Africa. So that's sort of the synergy that we have as partners. We have a 26-bed lodge. It's a self-catering lodge with different units, ranging from a 2-bed luxurious suite all the way to a 3-bedroom, so 6-sleeper house with its own private pool. A number of them share a communal kitchen with full amenities. We've got 2 swimming pools, and then all the other units are self-catered with their own kitchen, such as the unit where we are now. But part of this is always just raising awareness, and I think it's very important that people are aware of the actual challenges that are here and the work that we're doing. So, you know, wonderful that you guys are here and watching this. Obviously, any type of conservation requires money, and there are a lot of things that, you know, require money. I think the Black Mambas are an expensive part because we've got 36 ladies that we need to provide salaries for. We need to have vehicles, get out into the bush, protect the rhinos, protect pangolins, and then also general funds for more rehabilitation of animals, such as the pangolins. All the pangolins that come have collars, so they're little, it's like a little radio tag. The one is a VHF and the other is a satellite tag. Those things don't come cheap. And that allows us, especially with animals that move around a lot at night, which pangolins do, that allows us to monitor them remotely. So without having to, you know, really be with them all the time, we can just manage, and when they do get to areas that are not as safe for them, then we can intervene, and otherwise we allow them to be as natural as possible. we're hoping to really turn this into an eco-lodge. As you've unfortunately experienced, power supply in South Africa is not great. And about 90% of all the power in South Africa is generated by coal. We hope to go completely solar, completely off-grid, and then I also want to look into more sustainable building materials for when we do get to refurbishing. One of the things I'm looking into is straw bale building. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that, but it's basically building walls of houses from straw bales. So it's a lot cooler, and it's a natural resource that actually has a negative carbon impact. And then just carrying on with all the conservation work we're doing. I said earlier we're about 7,500 hectares. We hope to be about double that. And that's going to take time, but slowly we'll grow. And we really hope to just improve the biodiversity in this area.
So there's a lot of things that they're doing. It was a really great organization. They had beautiful lodging. The guests can come and stay and learn about their program. After that, we came and finally got to meet with Dr. Carrie Moorfeld. She's an amazing scientist and works majority with elephant. And so she brought us back to her chalet, and we got settled in. We had a really nice lunch that was provided. And we sat out on our back porch and was able to watch hippo and crocodiles, and there was impalas, and there was all this wildlife around us. There was a troop of monkeys that were jumping on the roof, and it was just really beautiful to kind of settle in and relax a little bit and really connect with Carrie a little bit about her program, which we'll talk more about in the later days in our filming. After that, she introduced us to another scientist. It's Dr. Michelle Henley, and she's actually with Elephant Alive, which is an amazing program. I'd actually never heard of them before, and it was really eye-opening what they do for not only elephant, but also villages.
And these are what we call earth pods, which are amazing. It's a design that came from Hoedspruit Hub, Dr. Henri Moorman, where what you do is you put in the bottom tire, you take old plastic bottles that you pierce holes in, and you put a plastic sheeting, and then you put an old t-shirt over it, and you fill that. You've got a pipe from the top going down to the bottom reservoir. You fill that with water, and the plastic bottles sort of push that, make sure that that material filter that you've got doesn't sag and push it, keeps it taut at the top. And you fill it with soil and you put plants in it. So we've got a lot of herbs here, mostly elephant unpalatables. But these products will be sold either at the farmer's market. It will also feed staff with nice fresh rations. And we've got, when we take people out on elephant days, the food that Jean prepares, we want most of it to come from the garden.
So nice.
We don't want to be buying stuff. We want to try and be as efficient as what we can.
So right now their objective is to really connect villages with elephant and to have a very different view that they're not a nuisance and they're important, and also to help villages raise money and that sort. So with that, we went over to their new facility they're building. They're actually building a new lab there that Dr. Carrie can do testing in and partner with Michelle and do work with Dr. Michelle. And we walked through their actual grow area where they harvest and grow agriculture. So the first thing that they focus on is that they grow agriculture that they test to see what elephants will eat and what they will not eat. And in hopes that they'll take the vegetation and the plants that elephant do not like, and they will take them to the villages and they'll start planting them in the villages to keep the elephants away from the villages. The other thing that they're going to do with the plants is they're going to harvest them for essential oils, so they'll be able to sell to raise more money for their program. Throughout this walk in the afternoon, we were able to meet the Coexist gardener that actually is in charge of how they grow and how they use their natural their natural things to be able to grow. So they use burlap on the ground so that weeds don't come up and hold and ruin their plants, and all of these other sorts of nifty things that they utilize in order to be more organic. They don't use pesticides and those sorts of things. We were able to meet their chickens. We were able to see them actually gather the eggs. And they talked a little bit how they let the chickens out when the bug problems get too bad, and the chickens will eat all the bugs. So that was really fun to learn about. And then we were able to meet the elephant shepherds. And these gentlemen were really neat to meet. They're very passionate about elephants. They've grown up with elephants. And their job and their purpose is that when an elephant goes into a village and becomes destructive, they are called, and these gentlemen actually go to the village and they stop the elephants from going in, and they scare them out of the village so that the village does not shoot the elephant or hurt the elephant. These men are in charge of safely getting them away from the villages.
10th of November last year,
Yeah.
and we are the only
Yeah.
first elephant shepherd.
Yes.
I love
So
that.
they
Yeah,
did train us for five days or
That's
just
what I
a
thought.
week.
It was just a short time.
Yeah,
So
because
you're figuring it out.
yeah,
You're learning.
we
No,
understand
because
it very well.
we come at home, we know the animals.
Yeah.
Because we're waiting, both of us was waiting for K2C.
Oh,
So there we are working with a lot of things. So when we come this side, we started to learn about elephant and whatever. So they give us a book, go and read and learn a lot of things. So we learn there how to deal with the elephant, whatever, and Michelle show us and go with us. We are not sleeping together. By 12 o'clock, was working at night. So yeah, we started
On hours.
all hours. That's so good.
So-
That was really fun. They showed us a few things that they, tools that they use that do not harm the elephants.
3, 2, 1.
After that, we came back and we settled back into our chalet and had a little break. We had a very nice dinner that was all homemade, beautiful food. And then we got to meet the #1 all-woman anti-poaching team, the Black Mambas, which was really fun. I was so excited to meet them. I actually did not know that they were here, and when I learned more about them and actually educated myself a little bit about them on the internet, it was really cool. And then when I got to meet them, that was really fun for us. We got to spend an evening with them just chatting. We learned how to dance African style. It was really fun. And they were strong and beautiful, and it was just really cool to see. So that pretty much wrapped up our day, and we got our luggage back and made it here from America. It's finally here. So overall, it was an awesome day. We learned a lot. It is very hot here in Africa, so that was a little bit of a struggle, but we are very excited for tomorrow. We will start first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. We will be going out to get more footage about Bush River, and then moving on with Dr. Carey to see what she has in store for us.